Hey, Scrapbook friends, it's Nicole, and I'm here with a Throwback Thursday album flip through, and this is thanks to my viewer Kelly Creates, who has asked me a couple of times if I would just do some of my older albums. So thank you, Kelly, and you're going to see that I needed you to encourage me to do this because it turns out that I needed to be reminded to pull out these albums again. So I'm going to show you both of my albums from 2006. Some years I did 4 albums. This year my husband happened to not be deployed to Afghanistan, and so I only did 2. So I'm going to go through both of them, but I did something very different this time that I have not done, that I had not done before. It was kind of, I did it as a creative challenge, but in 2006 it was the year that the Power palettes came out. And if you remember back in old CM, all right, is that better? They had these Power palettes where it was like all the same. It's kind of a precursor to what we have now with the Fast to Fabs, where everything coordinated. And you had like a decorative paper pack, a tone-on-tone paper pack, and then you had like editions, I think they called them. So there was like a Halloween one, there was a school one, a summer one. Anyway, so that's this entire album, both of these albums, I did using the Cabana Power palette and black sticker letters. That is all. The entire album is just with this one collection. It was very much a creative challenge, but as I was just flipping through it before I started this video, I really like it. So I was fairly current scrapbooking. I know that I did this pretty close to 2006. It might have been 2007 or 2008, but I moved from North Carolina in 2010, and this one was long since done. So I'm very pleased with how these layouts have held up. These are layouts I would do again. And in fact, I've taken some inspiration from myself just flipping through it. I left a couple of interesting little tidbits in here, and you're gonna laugh with me, I think, when we get through. So here we go, title page. I used the same title page for a previous year's album, kind of with this, I think this is a 6x6. I guess we'll find out. Nope, it's not. The green square is 4 3/4, and the brown square is 5 1/4, and then these little guys are 2.5-inch squares. And this one was easy because it had the little polka dots on it. And then I just one for every month because you end up with 12. And so that I thought that was a fun way to use a little icon from each month. But this is just part 1. So this was kind of a precursor, I think, to the Fast to Fab. This was pre-decorated because I don't feel any, I didn't put these together. And so these are just kind of random pictures. Oh, this one's got to go too. Sorry. Hope the lighting's okay. Just kind of random pictures from the month. And I just wrote about some things about what we had done for Christmas. And here's my crop tables in my living room from way back in the day when I used to have, we'd have 8 people at 4 6-foot tables. We didn't have that much stuff. So this was the kind of the wintry embellishment, but you're going to see these colors a lot throughout this whole thing. Here it's my husband's birthday. Got lost in the shuffle of pre-Christmas. 2005 is no exception. So a month after his birthday, we surprised him with a late birthday cake. So I mean, this layout with the borders, it feels like I made these. But it's kind of this color blocking is totally something I would absolutely do right now. All right, academic awards. Both the kids won academic awards. So this was the geometric punch multi-maker, I think. I think this was new when I was working on this. So I did use Spargo pages for this one. I usually use white, but this year I chose to use Spargo, which is kind of this little speckly. It's the same kind of paper that the inside of the album covers are made of. So they are Spargo in it. So it does feel a little bit different to me to be on Spargo pages instead of white. But again, all of this is from that one collection. We must have had mats that went with it too. But I think it worked out well. Here's a Disney trip. I managed to do Disney with this same collection. You notice I didn't use any of the teal, but I used kind of this orangey red and the pink. Oh, this is the famous Disney trip where we met the Power Rangers. I don't think I've showed you guys that album yet. That probably needs to be one of my next throwback albums. Here's one. So my husband's dad introduced him to the joy of computer Scrabble, and since then we become addicted, and so we're all playing Scrabble. And actually, we had some funny stories in our family about that. But this one, the paper had kind of these retro squares with the rounded corners, and I absolutely copied that style to make my layout. So that was super easy to get that inspiration just with the rounded corners and kind of the smaller square and the bigger square. So here's my son. He was in the pageant for his high school. He said he did really well, especially in the nicest legs contest. So, all right, this was my adopted Creative Memories team, took me on their retreat. I kind of cheated this time, I think, because the background paper here is a photo that I took and I enlarged and printed it 12 by 12 and used it as my background. But I still was using that same kind of thing. But I needed something beachy, and I used that. So it was very fun to have this time. In old Creative Memories, once you signed up under somebody, you were stuck under them for the rest of your time with the company. So I love now that if you sign up with somebody and you're not a good match, or you move, or you need somebody local, it is really easy for you to switch uplines in the new company. But thankfully, even back then, this team, the CM Harvesters, took me in. My upline was across the country, and they took me in. They had some fun little traditions. It was kind of like a little sorority. I got initiated. Here I am lying on the floor trying to take a picture of these little candles for our little welcome ceremony. And then just some stickers from that and an enlargement. I love to do 12, 8 by 12 enlargements because they fill up the whole page. It's hard for me to find places that do that. But so thank you to the CM Harvesters back there in North Carolina. And there's that picture that I blew up for those other two layouts. But Holden Beach, we went to this pizza place. We had a hard time finding a place to eat breakfast on our way out. So these are pretty simple. I do like this one with the kind of the strip across the middle as like my main focus thing, and then a couple of photos, and it gave me lots of room to journal. So, all right, so that was our beach retreat. I don't put scrapbook retreats in my family album anymore. I was going to so many of them, they were taking over the family album, that I now have a separate album just for retreats. But here's our spring break trip to New York City. I don't know if I've showed you guys that album either. I do one double page layout in my family album for a trip, and then it gets its own album. So I just did some highlights. We did not get in to see Wicked. We tried and tried. We did see The Lion King. We spent some time in Central Park, saw the Brooklyn Bridge, all that stuff. So my husband was a helicopter pilot in the Army for many years, and so he had been traveling, and so on the day he came home, we went out to the airfield to see him land. And he said he sent a text to my cell phone. This was 2006, so that was still kind of new, telling us which helicopter he was in, which was the last one, as always. So we had to wait the longest, but we're all so glad to see him. Here's little Michelle, who was about 5 at this point, running out to give him a hug. And isn't that a sweet little picture of the two of them? And boy, is my husband really brown. He's Hawaiian, but sometimes he's browner than other times. So here's some Easter pictures. Again, it's that paper with the rounded corner, and I copied that a little bit in here, but not as much. But another layout that I would still totally do with just pictures at the top and bottom, and then I just had this strip. But I love to break down into it. I feel like that makes it visually interesting rather than just having a strip if you kind of break down into it. All right, some random spring pictures. No journaling. I have to admit to you that there's no journaling on this page, probably because I don't know what to say, because these were just random spring pictures. Oh, this is a field trip that her kindergarten class went on, the only field trip of the year that they went on in kindergarten. So this is that collage page that I just did a video of, the kind of the color blocking, the same basic concept that I showed you in that other video, only I added some of these little animal prints. That's cute. I really did love this Cabana Power Palette. All right. So here's that same paper again, which caused me to round my corners. Secret Service. My husband had to go support the Secret Service. He was in the 82nd Airborne at that time and had to go and, intercept people who were flying where they shouldn't have been flying. This is a page that I'm really proud of. My kids were in, my daughter played Snoopy in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. First of all, she was amazing. One of the biggest regrets of my life is that to my knowledge, there is no video footage of her performances because she rocked the house. But I also love that with the constraints of using just that power palette that I'd picked at the beginning of the year, I was able to do this. And I took a whole bunch of the little accent marks from the ABC stickers to do this little border. I mean, there's like several dozen of these little accent marks. Everybody that I know that have these sticker letters, I'm like, hey, are you going to use those little accent marks? So I probably still have sheets of stickers that I had to steal all the accent marks for. But I love the way that this turned out. And I don't use sticker letters much for my titles anymore, but I'm kind of thinking maybe I need to go back to that because they were so much faster. So Alex was prom king. This was a great year for our family. I don't have any idea who the prom queen was. I have no picture of them together, but they elected him as prom king. So I guess this was the prom queen right there, but I don't know who she was. So whoever you were, prom queen that year, I'm sorry I don't have your picture. Congratulations. This is basically that same layout. I'm just seeing the same that I did right here. Basically the same kind of... Oh, this is a pre-printed page. So this was not a pre-printed page. I must have copied one of their... They didn't call them Fast to Fab, but that's basically what it was. Here's another Disney. This is back in the day when I think I had a Disney annual pass. But I didn't... There's nothing Disney on here, right? It's just green paper and pictures, and the pictures themselves with, the Incredibles and Alice and Jesse and Mickey. I mean, that makes it Disney. And then of course there is a whole other album, but this was the one time I was able to take my parents to Disney World. My parents have been to Disneyland a lot. They'd never been to Disney World, and they basically, I don't want to say they hired me as their tour guide, but they picked up the tab, and then I took them to Disney and kind of showed them why it is I like it so much. I don't know that I convinced them to like it as much as I do, but that's probably good for their bank balance too. So, all right, field day. This paper had the little diamond shape in it. And so that's what inspired me to do the diamond shape here. I love that the spacing worked out just right. Again, very simple pages. There's not a lot of stickers on these because I just didn't have the right stickers. And I feel like it really did cause me to have to kind of think creatively out of the box, which is probably always a good thing. So again, no stickers, the senior awards. Alex was a senior, Katie was a junior, but she actually won an award at the award ceremony. I was not even here, actually. My husband and I had gone to our high school reunion in Hawaii and left my parents, who I'd just taken to Disney, home with our kids. And so my mom took these things. And yeah, so Katie won the prize. She was the one junior in her high school that won a prize. So I think Alex won something and Katie won something. So that's pretty sweet. This was pre-printed. No, this was cut out. So I might have fussy cut around this and then cut out some of those circles. I can't believe I cut those out by hand. I cut awfully well. So go me. All right, Nick Kelch. Those of you who've been around, see him for a while or who are with Forever know about Nick Kelch. He has a Facebook page called How to Photograph Your Baby or How to Photograph Your Life. Highly recommend following him. He has some great photography tidbits. So this was just a fun thing that we put together for the CM Advisors in Fayetteville, North Carolina, which is where I was living at that time. So my husband and I were in Hawaii. I said 4 days after we got home from Disney, we went to Hawaii for our 20-year high school reunion. And so we've got some pictures of some of these things. But again, this has its own album right here. I said always a big trip like this gets its own scrapbook. So here we're going out to dinner. Yeah, this was fun. And, not particularly Hawaii-ish, but I mean, it worked. I guess I had the palm tree, so that was nice. Came back, Got home on June 1st, and next night we had a formal dinner. So it was fun to get dressed up and go out to dinner. So just some nice little pictures of us all dressed up in our fancy duds. And then, okay, this must have been the whole thing. My parents must have come to be here for my son's graduation. We did Disney, and wow, they must have stayed with us a long time. That was pretty awesome of them. So here we are, his graduation. Thankfully, there was the graduation stickers in this collection. But again, just simple borders and all sticker letters. And you know, it's okay without a lot of embellishment. I really, really am liking looking at these albums. All right, then it was Katie's birthday. And again, little simple border, just some stickers. I don't do a lot. I mean, you're seeing a lot of the Spargo background pages in here. Noticing that I wasn't completely wallpapering yet by then. I say as I turn the page to where we were wallpapering. So there's a giant shave ice about as big as my daughter's head, and some kind of slightly blurry fireworks pictures, but still kind of fun. And this is that same paper. So obviously I think I cut this. Nope, this is like a Fast to Fab, just pre-decorated. And here's just a striped paper. You know, I always tell you to be careful with stripes, but look how fun this one turned out. And just these stickers that were in one of the sticker packs. Her and her friends, all of them are now like college graduates. It's really kind of weird. Love this page with our little pool that we had in our front yard, and the kids playing. And this is 2006. I think my husband's truck was pretty much brand new then. He actually still drives his truck, which is pretty awesome. And I love these pictures of him in the pool and the kids playing with the kids and what fun they had. So this is another scrapbook retreat I went to. This is totally a layout we could still do if we use the circle punch. In fact, if you watch my Savvy Scrapbookers video that's going to be coming up next week, you're going to see something that's a little bit similar to this. Although I'm looking at this after I've already figured out what I'm doing for that one. So, but again, just a circle border and a background page and some rounded corners. I mean, I really don't round corners very much, but I think it looks really nice, and especially with this album. This one also was that geometric multi-maker that you could weave through. I think that turned out cool. I loved this particular paper with kind of these funky circles, and you can see I kind of mimicked that to make my highlight photos, but it's super busy. So you notice you haven't seen it as its own background on any of these pages yet. But here we are. We won the little gum chewing prize. Got to take home our little fire hats. It was fun. And then I wrote a little bit about our red chair. We got our furniture 10 years ago. The best thing we did was get 2 red Lazy Boy chairs. They're the best seats in the house, and they absolutely still are. We still own our red chairs, and they're still one of my favorite places to sit. So this is volume 1. I'm going to go ahead and add and do volume 2. I kind of thought about splitting this into 2 videos, but I think I'll just do it in one. And if I had 4 albums, I would have done it in 2, but 2 videos. But well, you guys are still with me, right? If not, feel free to pause, come back another time. So here's part 2. I didn't do the same squares title page, but because I was using the same paper, I felt like it went okay. So, you know, similar. I use that same background, but it's unusual for me. Usually I kind of keep the same style of title page when I have multiple albums. So I don't know what it's doing this year, but fun little picture of the girls wearing feather boas. And yeah, I was already into kind of punny titles. This little picture of the girls in the neighborhood is one of my favorites. My daughter had such a grand time with our little neighbor girls. I mean, it was like the best possible place to grow up. So here's that paper I said I hadn't used a whole lot of as a background, but I used it here for summer. I think it barely works okay. Definitely had to mat and put some wide mats and stuff to offset some of those pictures and keep the background from taking it over. But you know, this is something you could totally do right now with our circle maker and then the circle punches. And I really still do like this. I hope that you guys are seeing this thinking, oh yeah, I kind of like this too. So here's some circles, and with the wavy, I don't know if I even used the wavy cutter, if I just freehand that, but this is all before I had, you know, Pinterest. So these are layouts that I kind of came up with on my own, and man, I would do this one again. I really like this one. So my grandmother died, and so I flew out to Utah to be there for the funeral. So these are some pictures. And so Kelly, who asked me to show some older layouts, I opened this up and discovered this doesn't have a page protector on it. And there's like several layouts right in a row that don't have page protectors, which means there's something I need to add. Oh, little Kate, she just graduated from high school this week. She was so tiny. All right. So this is for my grandmother. And I put her, I've showed you guys how to make a pocket. I put her funeral program in here. She was wonderful, you guys. I loved my grandmother. And then I was able to go visit some of our family cemetery plots and see these are the cousins I just went to Disney World with this week. So this is very fun, but no page protector, y'all. All right, and my little niece was born right at the same time, and I haven't journaled about her. And I think what happened is because it's my sister's child, I didn't remember the details about her birth, but I'm going to find those out before I take these albums back upstairs to my shelf. This is that same geometric multi-maker. I really like the way this looks. You could totally do something similar with the Picket Fence border maker cartridge, and it's probably time for me to do a Picket Fence ideas video. We were all happened to be there for my brother's birthday, which was very fun. His first birthday since he had gotten married the December before. She was stuck at work and he spent his birthday with us. So here's that same circly paper. It was very fun to be with my siblings. Kind of not fun for the occasion, but meanwhile, my family was back here not back here, back there in North Carolina bowling without me. And as good scrapbooker family, they were taking pictures. And again, I'm using these sticker letters and realizing that, there were a lot of good options with that. So you're seeing some of the same papers, I think, that you've seen before, and you're seeing me round the corners because of that paper. So I get a lot of my ideas from the back of the back of the paper. And then I did get home in time for my daughter's birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese. And I think this very busy page is very appropriate for Chuck E. Cheese photos. Lots of pictures crammed in here. First day of school. I love this page. This is another one of kind of that color blocking page, but I think it just turned out great. So Alex had graduated, so he started his first job, worked at Captain D's, and then Katie was a senior and Michelle was a first grader. So this was the pencil border from the stickers and the crayons and just the color blocking. So fun to have fun school icons and use stickers for once in this. But I love the color blocking. I still do this. So this is some friends of ours that got married. Not sure they want to have their name and wedding date on here. I'm not really in touch with them. We're Facebook friends now, but I don't know. Mo, if you're watching this, hope it's okay that I put your wedding photos in my video. But this is, oh no, I put this down. So I might've created this layout. By this point, I was probably running low on this. I used several of the power palettes, but I was trying to kind of use up some of the scraps. So this is probably cardstock and then just supplemented with some of the scraps I had left of the paper, designer paper. This is that layout style that I've showed before that I love, which is 2 vertical and 2 horizontals. And just building a little temple out of sugar cubes, which, I think we probably did eat them later, but gosh, she's so tiny. All right, my husband's promotion, I said we feel way too young for it. I said he reached a milestone we always thought only came to the old guys and was promoted to CW4. So that was pretty awesome. And thankfully I actually have these pictures. And this was from the Army Times, I think, that I printed that out. And here are just some circles. I love this. Oh, the 4 circles, that's what the warrant officer insignia, it's actually squares, but I use circles. Sorry, don't sue me. All right, so this is when I went to Creative Memories Consultant Conference in Charlotte. I said my husband got to go on a business trip with me. And I remember this because this is right when Creative Memories had just launched their storybook software, and one of the field development managers sat and worked with him, and my good friend Terry Schultz was here. We had a lot of fun at this conference together. Oh, I said he didn't realize his shirt was CM Blue until lots of consultants started coming up to him and asking him questions about the software. He did actually become my software expert during this time with Creative Memories because I am a Mac person and the software only worked on PC. So he had gone to the conference with me and they let him come to like the whole conference. I don't think he came to all of it, but he's obviously was here at the cropping part. He learned the software. He actually made the first digital scrapbook in our family was made of his deployment to Afghanistan. So this is a momentous day. This is in October of 2006. My grandmother had died in August and all of the kids got some money, just not a lot of money, but a nice little chunk of money. And I chose to use mine to purchase my first digital SLR camera. So prior to this, I had a little point and shoot, but I was mostly using my film camera. So all this other stuff had been on film. But in 2006, I made the switch to a digital SLR and yeah, haven't looked back except now I'm on my phone, but I miss my DSLR. So there's that paper that I like, some more little circles for my title, and then a four square with some of the new pictures I took. And then I said, I don't know if it was a new camera or just that we're such a cute family, but we took lots of random photos this fall. So I just had fun, and it probably was mostly the new camera. But just lots of random pictures. I love to put random pictures in. Definitely just random pictures with the new camera. Here's a lovely one of me yawning. And I'm on that red chair we talked about. So then we're back to just generic autumn pictures. This is where I obviously took this paper, and I think I must have used a punch because these are pretty circular, but punched the little things out of here to make this little flower, this is kind of a separate page than this page, but they totally go together. So now I'm like, what papers could I recreate this with? So here we go. My daughter played volleyball. She did great. This year she was a senior. She made all conference, all tournament, all region, and was a team captain, undefeated in conference, and they made it to the second round of state. So, and some senior night pictures. In her school book, there are way more volleyball pictures. In the family book, I just did one layout about her volleyball. I love this layout. I love this. Hey, I can ride a bike is from Schoolhouse Rock, one of the Schoolhouse Rock videos. That's a line in there, and we used to love watching those with our kids. But I love the combination of the square photos and then the big circles. And this was an 8x10 that I cut down into a circle. And I don't know. Looking at this layout right now, I love it. I totally want to redo this. So you may see this one again soon. Halloween, this is some more kind of color blocking, a little bit different style, but where I did the color blocking in the back and then put the pictures over the top. I really like this, you guys. I think it's not even squares. It's like, this looks like 7.5 and 4.5 with just a little gap in between. I don't know. I like it. I love the way it looks. I mean, this was 16 years ago. I mean, 2006. I probably was doing this in 2008, so at least 15 years ago. And this is totally still kind of my style of scrapbooking and something that I would do again. And I have to tell you that I think one of the reasons I chose, when they came out with the power palettes, so we had Cabana and Cottage, and I think one of the reasons I chose Cabana is because I loved the little Halloween stickers, especially the candy corn and the cats. So that inspired my whole entire album for this year, which is using only one power palette. So here I'm talking about with the year started to wind down and my husband's January deployment started coming closer and closer. You might think deployments get easier the more you do them, but really the opposite is true. This one came way too fast. So this is just, I assume my daughter took these pictures. So, so she had a lot of homework, and sometimes the only person who's able to help with her homework was Alex, who was always very patient and calm. So this is a fun little page about, doing homework, which is such a thing. And again, just wallpapered with a couple strips. I think it looks great. We went up to a concert. What is this in here? This must be the little program. My husband's Hawaiian. Both of us grew up in Hawaii, and no page protector on here again. Save the tickets. And then my daughter got into college, got a great scholarship, and the first of her 4 college acceptance letters. That was pretty sweet. She did end up going to MSOE for her freshman year and then decided it was too engineering for her. So she had to do a senior project, and she chose to rebuild a car engine. So that has served her very well. Probably more than most of the things she's learned in high school is the fact that she learned how to rebuild an engine. All right, another time where I got some really big 8x12 enlargements. I'd gone out to the airfield one day. I said, our new camera takes such good pictures, we want to experiment with it. My husband arranged a couple of test flights that I could go out and photograph up close. So I was able to go with my big telephoto and get these really great pictures of him flying his Black Hawk. Oh, and look, I did a little cutout. I was thinking about this would be a fun thing to do on a video too. I don't do this a lot, but it's really fun to have one of these little peekaboo things where you show the same picture on 2 layouts. So you may see that again. And this one doesn't have a page protector, and I don't know why. Oh, I do know why. Because look at this. I haven't finished this layout. So Kelly, wherever you are, thank you. I've got to figure out if I'm going to put a layout here. My daughter had gone up to MSOE in Milwaukee to tour the campus, and then she and my sister went and saw Wicked in Chicago. I assume I have pictures. I do not know why they are not scrapbooked. You guys know that the reason I haven't done more album flip through videos is because my albums aren't done. Apparently this one's not done either, from 2006. So don't ever feel bad if you guys are not caught up, because apparently I'm not caught up either. So Thanksgiving, just a few little pictures. One of the things I love to do with my daughter's school projects was take a picture of things. This was a huge, big, like 16 by 18, whatever that construction paper size thing is, from school. And I didn't want to have to keep it, but I took a picture of it. Now it's in the scrapbook. So it's just like keeping it, only better. So I said we had a hard time deciding what to do for Thanksgiving, but we ended up inviting a couple of my husband's soldiers and our brand new next door neighbors over for Thanksgiving, but I don't have a picture of them. Then we went downtown. They did this little candlelight thing, which was very fun. This is another layout style that I really like. I tend to do it now on a wallpapered page, but look how nice it looks just on these Spargo pages. And it's just 2 equal height rows of photos. These look like they're 4 inches, and these look like they're maybe 3.5 inches. But then I have 2 that kind of break the line, and then the little stripes top and bottom. I think that's a great layout. I need to make some notes and just duplicate these same layouts in the project I'm working on now. So here I finally got to use the Christmas stickers that came in Cabana. And, again, it's not really Christmas colors. It's kind of Christmas colors, red and green. But this was a great creative challenge for me to be limited, very, very limited in this color palette for the whole year. And so if you've thought about, using maybe the Fast to Fabs, or if you just want to do something fast, grab a whole bunch of packs of paper, especially some of the ones that have the Fast to Fab pages. I think like the Serenity would be really nice. Be a little bit harder because it doesn't have any of the seasonal stuff, but who knows what you could do. So in early December, all the aircraft that were going to Afghanistan were flown, and they were put on a boat. So my husband was in the 5th helicopter when the formation flew over our neighborhood one morning as we waited at the bus stop. So he was in the 5th helicopter right there behind the trees. So that was fun. And then I talked a little bit about Michelle and her relationship with her big brother, which is still very close and very sweet. And then the Christmas party. So we haven't been very involved with his family readiness group, but with his deployment looming, we decided it'd be a good idea to start getting to know them. Seeing Santa was a bonus. So that was fun. Santa came in on the back of a pickup truck. So yeehaw. All right. Love this one with Michelle's letter to Santa. I took pictures of it. Oh, it was her first letter to Santa. It says her dad helped her with the return address, but apparently it made it to the North Pole because Santa did stop at our house. So that was fun. And again, I used that striped paper on the background. It works all right. So promotion party. This again is a layout style with circles and squares that I totally would still do. I mean, I've been very interested to look back at this album that's from 15 years ago, that it doesn't, some of my old albums where I have like the Mrs. Grossman sticker sneezes or whatever, a strip and a triangle, feel kind of dated to me. But this one, I apparently was already developing my own scrapbooking style. And I've kind of stayed with it, even though I've expanded my repertoire a lot. So Alex's birthday, I said, Alex's birthday snuck up on us. His birthday is just 2 days before Christmas, and so that does make it really hard. Yu-Gi-Oh cards and some iTunes. But now he has a job and he buys his own stuff. So again, there's that circle paper that I love. Christmas Eve, I said our favorite place to be for Christmas is in our very own home. And I talked about our traditions of cheese fondue, reading the Christmas story, and opening one gift before we go to bed. I do not know. Okay, here we go. This year we all opened our gifts from Grandma and Grandpa So. We each got $40, but Michelle got hers in a big stack of $1 bills. So that is pretty fun when you are 6 years old to get a stack of 40 $1 bills. And then here's Christmas morning. I said this year we decided to use our Christmas budget on a trip to Disney, so Christmas was a lot calmer than it's been in other years. I said Santa came, we got a bunch of gifts from Nana and Grandpa and our cousins. That was it, and we still had a lot of trash. And I always love to take a picture of like the pile of trash after Christmas. And then off we went to Disney. Giving up all the gifts and trappings of Christmas was all worth it once we found ourselves surrounded by the magic of Disney World for the last 4 days of the year. And again, this has its own separate album, but always have the 2-page layout in the family book. And then just this picture that I love. 2007, here we come. That's all I said. There you go. That's the end of volume 2. I have had all my, not all. I've had most of my spines done. And I just have my family albums divided by year. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that even though this uses stuff that's long since retired, the Cabana Power Palette, of course, is from Old CM. This is an old size album. It is not true 12 by 12. You can see that it, these are 11.5-inch pages. But I hope that you got some ideas. I got some ideas. And so again, thanks to Kelly. I think I've shouted out your name 3 or 4 times, but thank you for reminding me that I've wanted to do this, and I will do it again. Feel free to keep reminding me if I procrastinate it too long. But thanks so much. If you have any questions or comments, or if you saw a layout in here that you really liked, or would like me to recreate it with current products so that you can recreate it too, I'd be happy to do that. So thanks so much for watching. Appreciate your comments and your likes, and of course all of those that have subscribed to my channel. So have a great night and happy scrapbooking.